In this video, we want to configure two keycloak instances, one as broker and the other one as identity management. I have created two projects, project 1 and 2, on my OpenShift cluster. Of course, you can use your Docker desktop as well to up and run your keycloak instances. Under project 1, I have installed keycloak operator, and under project 2 I did the same and installed again keycloak operator as well. Each of these keycloak instances I have created. You can go on keycloak operator. I have used create instance to up and run a keycloak instance, and I used create realm instance to create a realm or a tenant. I did this step for both of the instances under project 1 and under project 2. The important part is to open two instances and configure them. One of them as broker and the other one as identity provider. You can go to your route in project 1 or project 2. Project 1 is where I have my broker instance, and then click on this URL or link here to open broker instance. Then you can change to project 2 to go to the identity provider instance. I opened two instances beside each other to show you step by step what we should do in each one of them. Here project 1 is where I have my broker, and project 2 is where I configure my identity provider. Then I go to my broker instance and change to the tenant A, and go to my let's change the zoom here. Great. Then I go to my identity provider instance and change to tenant B. To be able to test what I'm configuring right now, I created a dummy user here as test user, and created a dummy user here as well. They are my user, both are my dummy users. After that we created the users, we should go to clients to create a client for our broker. I called it for broker. All the steps that I am explaining right now in this video, I have done it before and tested before to provide every data that I need to create this video. But I will show you all the steps. Okay, I have created for broker client. I click on it to show you all the configurations. The client ID, it's something simple. When you create a client, the client must have an ID. OpenID Connect as client protocol. Confidential is an item that you have to select. The rest are the default configuration, and the other one that I needed here is valid redirect URLs, and the rest are all default values. At the beginning, when you are creating this client ID, this client, maybe you don't have this endpoint. It doesn't matter. I will show you where you can find it. To configure a broker to be able to be connected to your identity provider, you should go to identity provider menu item on your brokers. I have created one already, but you can add one more identity provider, and you have to select keycloak OpenID Connect when you want to connect two keyclocks with each other. I will click on the created identity provider to show you how and where you can find these valid redirect URIs for your client on identity provider instance. This redirect URI, you have to select it and paste it here. That's it. Then you can save the client. After you save the client, then you can go to credentials. Right now I cannot to save something, I can cancel it. You can go to credentials. Under credentials you have a secret. This secret is the value that you have to paste it here as client secret, and the client ID is easily the ID of the client that you have created here. One more item that you have to select is the client authentication. You select the authentication method that a user have to be authenticated. We say client secret send as post. It means that you send the secret as a post to the identity provider to authenticate it, to authenticate on this instance. As you see, not only client secret and client ID and client authentication values are set here, but also the other values. They are the endpoint of the identity provider or identity management instance, where and how we can have it. You can go to the realm setting. You have OpenID endpoint configuration. You can copy the link, or even you can open it in another tab, and you see that it is only a configuration. You can copy this URL, or as I said, you can select this link and copy it and then paste it in the field that you have at the bottom of this page as import, and then select import button. The endpoints will be imported automatically here without manually write or copy or paste the values in this field. After that you configured all these values, pay attention that I have selected back channel logout. It makes it possible that users from the identity provider be able to log out. Now we want to test if all the configuration that we have done works or not. I open a private browser, private Chrome browser, and I use this link. It means I want to log in through my accounts on tenant A. It is a realm in my broker instance, but because tenant A is connected over identity provider to provider instance, actually I must have both options. I do sign in. It looks good. I see I can log in to my tenant A, but of course I can log in logged in via a user that I have in tenant B. First, I will try to log in via a user with identity that I have in tenant B. It looks good. After that you are logged in with your identity from tenant B or from your identity provider, actually you have to be able to use your user here. It is my test user, it is an identity from tenant B. I do sign out and do sign in again. This time I want to log in to my tenant A with an identity that I have in tenant A. Great. It sounds good. Actually, that's it.